Alright, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. The MLB playoffs start tonight. It is the day of the National League wildcard game between the Washington Nationals and the Milwaukee Brewers, and tomorrow of course is the Oakland A's Tampa Bay American League wildcard game. I thought it would be fun just to have MLB The Show simulate the entire postseason. I've set up the bracket here. I've not made any alterations to the rosters at all. It's just what MLB The Show thinks is going to happen. So if you guys go on to enjoy this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I'm interested to see who wins. For my money, I think it is going to be New York and LA in the World Series this year in real life. I would take LA probably in 6 or 7. I think it's a long series. I think LA wins it. So let's get into what MLB The Show thinks. Alright, so I guess let's simulate through that. Alright, so the first round is done. It is the two wildcard games. Milwaukee and Oakland are going to win. So you can write that in your books. Milwaukee seems like they won. Milwaukee won 3-0. Max Scherzer had himself a pretty good game, but not enough. So, yep, let's move on to round 2. The National League, we had 2 sweeps in the NLDS. It's Atlanta sweeps St. Louis, which I think could actually happen in real life. The Dodgers sweep Milwaukee, which almost certainly would happen in real life. It sets up the Dodgers and Atlanta there in the NLCS. In the American League, Houston beats Oakland 3-1 in the ALDS. Minnesota tops the Yankees. Actually, that is shocking. What happened? I'm intrigued. The Twins came back from being down 2-0? Really? Jose Barrios loses to Tanaka, who pitches a gem, and then the Yankees win game 2. The Twins go home and they light up James Paxton as well as J.A. Haps to tie it 2-2 in the series, and they take home game 3 there in New York. Interesting. It seems like Chapman might have blown a save or something. That's strange. Interesting. So the first big upset, we have Minnesota beating New York. Let's simulate to the World Series, I guess. Let's do that. Oh yes, so Minnesota loses 4-1. Their Cinderella run is over. It is capped by the Astros, who win the series 4-1. They move on to the World Series in the American League in 5 games. On the National League side, the Atlanta Braves move on. They beat the Dodgers 4-2 in their series in the National League, advancing to the World Series, and boy do we have a Game 1 matchup here. It is Mike Foltynewicz versus Lance McCullers. Foltynewicz rocking with a 10.80 ERA, but McCullers has tons worse, actually, somehow. McCullers has been terrible this postseason with a 19.29 ERA. I don't know how. He just is. I'm interested to see why. But all right, let's go into the World Series. So I think it'd be fun to do each game one at a time, kind of go into the back box scores, see what MLB The Show thinks. So we're gonna sim through the date. Houston wins the first game 6-2. McCullers lowers his ERA to 8.59, which you'd love to see. Yeah, pretty big margin of victory there. We are going to sim this game, and they win 5-3. So Verlander here spins a gem, improves to 3-0 in the postseason, beating Mike Soroka, who is 1-1 now. Not a terrible game, but Atlanta in a hole now. 0-2. Can they come back at home? They do, actually. They win 6-2. Dallas Keuchel, a former Houston Astro, tops new Houston Astro, or newer Houston Astro, Garrett Cole, who's been lit up this entire postseason with a 9.82 ERA. It's not been a good experience for a lot of the Houston pitchers, it seems like. Can they tie the series in this game? They don't. It's 3-1 Houston. As we get Zack Greinke to spin a gem. He's been great this postseason. A 1.19 ERA, 3-0. Some of these Houston pitchers have been locked down. Others of them have been just terrible. But Zack Greinke tops Julio Teheran in Game 4. In Game 5, could it be the decider? Is Brad Peacock really? Is Brad Peacock going to do enough to beat Max Fried? Let's see. He is. The Astros win the World Series 3-2. Let's dive into the box score, I guess, in this last game, because we can. What happened? Atlanta scores 1 in the 9th, but it is not enough after a 3-run 6th inning from Houston. Seems like nothing too eventful happened here. Altuve hit a double. We had a couple of RBIs there from Houston. Atlanta here. Did anything exciting happen? Brian McCann hit a home run. Nick Markakis had an RBI. A couple of doubles from Acuna, Albies, Freeman, and Markakis. Swanson a stolen base. Brad Peacock went 5 strong. That's all you can ask for from the Raging Bird himself. And then it seems like McHugh, Presley, and Ozuna just closed it out. The run in the 9th was unearned. Max Fried allowed 3 there in the 6th and then was taken out. Maybe they let him go a little bit too long, but what are you going to do? And then, despite the great pen work there at the end by Atlanta, it was not enough. So, what have we learned here? Can we look at the thing? We can't. Epic. So here's what we learned. Houston is beating Atlanta in the World Series, according to MLB The Show. You can write that in pen, I am sure. Minnesota is topping the Yankees. They're beating the Yankees. This is not me just blowing smoke out my mouth like I do so often. This is legit fact. Minnesota is beating the New York Yankees. This is absolutely a thing that is going to happen. I have no doubt in my mind, actually, that it's going to happen. And they're going to come back from down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series. And the Yankees are going to go home, as they're not going to be happy. The Dodgers get topped by the Braves. The Cardinals get swept. The Brewers get swept. The Nats lose tonight, as you're watching this, or potentially later, I guess. And Atlanta just can't beat a loaded Houston team, who has some terrible starters, by the way. We'll go into the stats, because why not? Of the World Series winning Houston Astros, Verlander and Greinke led the team with wins. Saves. Ozuna, the closer, obviously had 5 and 5 2/3 innings pitched. Verlander carried most of the innings there with 24. Brad Peacock was effectively wild with 8 walks. Ryan Presley didn't walk anyone in 2 2/3. Ozuna also didn't walk anyone. Good to see. The strikeout leader for the team was Garrett Cole with 24. He also had a 9.82 ERA. So despite the fact he is striking people out at a record rate, 24 strikeouts over 14 2/3 innings is insane. But it didn't work out well for him personally, though he did win a World Series, so maybe it did. Had the highest ERA on the team. Presley Will Harris had the lowest. Zack Greinke the lowest starter with a 1.19 ERA. Also, Ryan Presley with the lowest WHIP. Overall, interesting. Let's look at some of the position players, as I go the wrong way. Look at Correa, led the team in hits with 21. Also led the team in home runs with 7. Good power there from the shortstop. Alex Bregman, as I can't talk. I guess he does kind of look like a bread man, potentially, but he leads the team in RBIs with 15. Altuve manages 5 steals, but only a 254 average there for Altuve. I can see George Springer only had a 161 batting average, so he was pretty useless during the World Series here, at least in Sim, but Yordan Alvarez has a 392 average. Does that lead the team? It does not. Kyle Tucker apparently went 1 for 2. But people with legitimate at-bats, like Alvarez had 51 at-bats, he leads the team along there with Correa. What else? On-base percentage, Alvarez, he had a .483 on-base percentage, which is wild. OPS, Correa leads with a 1200 OPS. Chirinos and Altuve lead with walks, which is shocking. Did not expect to see that. Who struck out a lot? George Springer struck out a lot, as he was just terrible the whole postseason, I guess. Correa struck out a good bit, but he was effective. So, get your crap together, George Springer, I guess. And that's pretty much the only stats I would want to look at. Who had the errors? Correa had 3 errors at short. Not the best. The middle infield is just terrible. And Springer had an error. Man, rough postseason there for Springer, but he wins a World Series. So that's something. That's going to do it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, Houston Astros are World Series champions according to MLB The Show. So that is exciting. Do with that what you will. I wouldn't bet money on that in Vegas, but it is the way that it has happened here on Sim and in video. So if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.